There are 4 men in particular out of this 24-man entry going for 9 points for a win. Alan Jones, who is down in the championship, no chance of winning. Carlos Reutemann and Nelson Piquet, both of whom could, of course, as you well know, win. And Jacques Lafitte, notwithstanding the fact that he's way down in 12th position on the grid, and he actually qualified in Patrick Tambay's car. Patrick Tambay, the man who's been fired from the team, and away they go. Look at Villeneuve. It's Alan Jones taking the lead. Villeneuve in 2nd position, and Villeneuve making all that he can out of the turbocharged Ferrari power. And thank heavens they have all got round that critical first corner safely, with Alan Jones, the Australian, in his last Grand Prix, leading as they surge through round turn 1, then away into 4th gear, round turn 2, the left-hander, down to the long sweeping right-hander at turn 3, and see the lead as Alan goes into turns 5 and 6 with Villeneuve in 2nd position. Prost is in 3rd position, Giacomelli is in 4th place, Carlos Reutemann is in 5th place. Right behind Carlos Reutemann is John Watson, who has actually got flu, and in 7th position it is Jacques Lafitte.
Yes, Piquet's dropped back a bit since he was right behind Reutemann going into the first corner, so but there was a little bit of a clutch of them, so he's obviously had a bit of trouble.
Alan Jones is now well away on his 3rd lap.
As Prost has just made it past Villeneuve, just squeezed by on the inside. I expect Prost will now probably pull away a bit. Giacomelli may have a little bit more trouble getting round Villeneuve. He hasn't got the power that Prost has got in his turbo Renault.
And that's Tambay. That is Patrick Tambay. And look at that shattered car. The whole of the front of the car has been torn off, and Tambay has very obviously hurt his left leg or his left ankle, and is sensibly hopping as fast as he can out of the danger area, which is where his Talbot Matra car is now. This is the World Championship leader, Carlos Reutemann, on his 8th lap, with Piquet right behind him.
Interesting thing with the Reutemann and Piquet situation is that, but as long as they're in point-scoring positions, whoever finishes in front of the other one wins the championship.
And the gap between the 3rd and 9th men, that is to say Gilles Villeneuve and Mario Andretti, is 4.5 seconds only. There is Andretti, number 22. Villeneuve, Giacomelli, Lafitte and Watson. Reutemann is still out of the points. Carlos Reutemann is in 7th position, ahead of Nelson Piquet.
So what Piquet is doing now is really, at the moment, because of circumstances, for the World Championship, and he's trying to get past Reutemann. Of course, one thing neither of them want to do, particularly Piquet. And Piquet, I think he's done it. Piquet's got him. Piquet's made it to Reutemann. Very, very well driven indeed. He played a waiting game. He pretended that he wasn't going to make an attempt, then nips out, caught Reutemann a little bit unawares, and that now puts Piquet in a winning position for the World Championship. Now, Andretti is having a go, and he's passed Reutemann as well. Now, is Reutemann in trouble with his car, or is he just a bit shell-shocked, having seen Piquet go past?
Well, that's Villeneuve. Gilles Villeneuve. It's happened. The decay and the rot are setting in. Villeneuve off, and he's unlikely to get started again because he's on the sand.
Well, unfortunate for Villeneuve, but that will probably be very popular indeed with all the drivers who were stuck behind him. I would imagine that the fairly evil-handling Ferrari finally got too much of a handful. It's very, very hard work indeed to drive.
Lafitte is 3rd. Mario Andretti and Giacomelli are fighting for 4th place, and there they are. And right behind them in 6th position is number 5, Nelson Piquet, in the World Championship point situation and challenging Andretti, who is now down to 5th place. Well, Giacomelli spun. He's regained the circuit, actually. He's in 10th position. And there are now some 14 cars in the running out of the 24 who started.
So there's Andretti, it looks like, with the rear wheel hanging off. Who is it?
That's Mario Andretti for sure. He wanted to do well, of course, in his home Grand Prix. Having a look to see what's happened to what he would describe as that goddamn rear wheel, I'm sure. And he's getting no nourishment there. Food for thought, but not very much. Mario Andretti certainly out of the Caesars Palace Grand Prix of 1981.
He's looking at it rather quizzically. I suspect maybe that it fell off of its own accord. It may have been a suspension failure.
Nigel Mansell has moved ahead of Carlos Reutemann, as out of the pits goes Alain Prost, and he's going to be in about 8th position when he exits the pits, I think, maybe even behind Carlos Reutemann. And the race order on lap 33 out of 75 then is in the lead Alan Jones, in 2nd position is Jacques Lafitte, in 3rd position is Piquet, and 4th is Nigel Mansell ahead of 5th place man Carlos Reutemann, and then Giacomelli. Alain Prost, who's coming very, very close to Reutemann, and there's no question of that Renault not handling. Look at the way it goes, and look at the way he just surges past Carlos Reutemann as we look down now at the Lotus 87 of Nigel Mansell, who is about to be taken and passed by Prost. And the way that Renault goes is absolutely incredible. Tremendous power, and it handles beautifully.
Yes, and bear in mind, of course, that Alain Prost has the advantage of having fresh tyres on his car.
Piquet gives way and lets Alain Prost through up into 3rd position as Alan Jones completes his 43rd lap ahead of them. This course, which is very demanding physically for the drivers, is also demanding from a transmission point of view for the cars. 34 gear changes per lap, 2,550 gear changes in all. It's tough on the gearbox, and of course it's tough on the drivers. And let us not forget, as we look at Nelson Piquet, that he is undoubtedly, despite his brave words this morning, in pain as a result of that zealously massaged back problem that he has. And Carlos Reutemann, as we look at Piquet, seems to be in trouble because he has just been passed by Bruno Giacomelli, who is therefore up into 6th place. Carlos Reutemann is therefore out of the World Championship points at the moment in 7th place. Alain Prost has just caught and taken, as our cameraman goes berserk to find him, Jacques Lafitte in the Torba Matra, and there you have the new 2nd place man, and see the way he is pulling away from Lafitte. And there is Piquet up into 2nd place. Nelson Piquet then, Jacques Lafitte must surely be in trouble. Jacques Lafitte down to 4th position. Nelson Piquet is now up into 3rd. Jacques Lafitte dropping back in the points, yes, but Jacques Lafitte fighting back in the race, and Nigel Mansell with him. Nigel Mansell goes through. Oh, great, wonderful. Nigel Mansell in the Lotus then is up into 4th position. And Mansell is ahead of Piquet. And Lafitte is coming into the pits. Jacques Lafitte is in trouble and is into the pits. And now Nigel Mansell is up into 3rd position ahead of Nelson Piquet.
There's Giacomelli just going past Nelson Piquet there, and he's moved him up a place, but of course Nelson Piquet is not worried. So long as he finishes in the points, that's all he needs, just to score that 1 point or better. So he's not going to fight for his place, whether he's in any sort of trouble or whether he's just taking it gently and running for a secure and steady finish. It's hard to tell.
Alan Jones leads by some 40 seconds from Frenchman Alain Prost in the turbocharged Renault. Coming up fast, Bruno Giacomelli in 3rd place, pulling away from 4th place man Nigel Mansell. In 5th position, very much in the points. 2 points, that's all he needs for the World Championship. Nelson Piquet, the new 6th place man in the points, John Watson in the Marlboro MP4, and in 7th position out of the points, Carlos Reutemann. The race order is Alan Jones, Alain Prost in 2nd position, Bruno Giacomelli is 3rd. In 4th position, it's still a fine 4th position, Nigel Mansell. In 5th, it's Nelson Piquet, and there he is. In 6th, and he's been lapped, is Watson. In 7th is Lafitte, and in 8th, Carlos Reutemann. Alan Jones showing every sign of going out on that unique, distinctive note of winning his last race as world champion. And Alan Jones takes that Union Jack to win the Caesars Palace Grand Prix, a win for Alan Jones, and there is the world champion, actually becoming world champion of 1981. 2nd, Alain Prost. third, Bruno Giacomelli. A fine fourth, Nigel Mansell. The world champion, the new one, in fifth position, Nelson Piquet. And in sixth position, Jacques Lafitte, ahead of John Watson and Carlos Reutemann. There's the confirmation. There is the world champion. All around him, his team, the flags of Brazil. There's a lot of his Brazilian supporters here. And everybody here at Las Vegas, as I am sure all around the world, hails the world champion, Nelson Piquet, and, of course, the race winner, Alain Jones.